Warning. The following game contains disturbing themes such as death of animals, non-con drug use, stalking, panic attacks, psychological abuse, and minor jump scares. Viewers' discretion is advised. It's early fall. The leaves are still falling outside. The streets are covered in a monotonous hue of orange and green. The middle of October is mostly very calm. There's nothing much happening. Finals are still somewhat far. But even if I wanted, doesn't mean I can relax just yet. Shifting in my bed, I looked at my phone. 6 a.m. as usual. The rays of sunlight were already entering my room. Oh, today is... Right, I almost forgot. There was a workshop today. I'm not at all enthusiastic about it, honestly. At least for me, my college is very different from high school. Talking to others isn't the same thing anymore. It felt more intimidating. But I guess I should be thankful for these workshops since talking to others is pretty important in my field. In the end, even if they are a drag, they are still good for me. In any case, I better get ready. Stretching lazily as I got up, I look myself in the mirror. There's always a big gap above it. Every time I stand in front of it, I am short. For once, I kind of want to be a short king. Gosh darn. My frame fit perfectly well in the mirror. I am average in height. I had to bow down slightly so I had to see my face. I am tall. I'm not that tall, so I guess I'd say I'm average in height. I guess it was the only time being average wasn't bad. My tired expression looked back at me from the mirror and my hair was pretty disheveled. I better fix this before leaving my room. Since I lived alone, it was kind of a hassle to make my own breakfast every morning. I ended up going for the shop near where I studied every morning instead. I had to wait a bit before I got there, but it was very much worth the wait. The small shop that I had grown quite fond of drew closer in the distance. The smell of freshly brewed coffee tinged my nose. It was much cozier compared to the cold outside, like a warm and gentle cuddle. I wish I could stay here more. I didn't want to risk being late today. Hello, what can I do for you? As usual, I ordered. Man, honestly, if I have to go through the same grind every day, I would probably go for plain black coffee. But, a latte would be nice. Sure thing. I sat down at the table near the window. But it didn't take too long until my order was ready. Thank you for ordering. Have a good day. I gave the girl my best smile. You too. Well, seems I've arrived early. There's not too many people at the lecture hall yet. I guess I got too worked up about being late. The few people that were here seemed to be busy talking to each other. I ended up taking an empty seat. I needed some time before I gathered enough courage to speak to anyone. Is the seat taken? Huh? Looking up, I met the tired eyes of a very tall man. Where did that guy even come from? I swear I didn't even hear him walking closer. Not really. Can I help you? The man nodded. Forgive my rudeness. Name's Chester. Chester. For some reason, his name reminds me of dinosaurs. Why would Chester remind you of dinosaurs? I mean, heck, it would remind me of a certain, chess-looking animal from Don't Starve? I'm Lionel. It's nice meeting you. It's nice meeting you too. Would you mind pairing up with me for today, Lionel? I tried smiling at the man. He sure had a formal way of speaking. Well, why not? I guess that solves the issues of having to look for a group. The silence in between us seemed to extend for minutes. Right, I guess I should say something. So I haven't talked to you before, have I? Yeah, you haven't. As I thought, I really don't know what to talk about with him. Does that make you uncomfortable? Well, not uncomfortable. Yeah, I just don't know what to talk about. I see. In that case, I suggest we get more acquainted with one another. As in my opinion, it may benefit us both. Benefit us both? Uh-huh. To me, it seems you don't have a group yet, and neither do I. So yes, it would benefit us both. Oh, he does have a point. So, what do you say? Well, I think so. I mean, I don't particularly have anything against it. That is great. So, why don't you tell me more about yourself? Ah, my mind was coming up empty. If I may be direct, for what reason were you alone in the first place? Well, how can I explain that? I'm not that good with socializing, to be honest. I just got too lazy to build up courage so I could talk to someone properly. Honestly, I'm not that good with socializing. But I'm trying my best. It's not like I hate people. Besides, a pharmacologist should be good with people, right? Huh, I see. Then I'll make sure to act cautiously so you can feel more comfortable. Take it easy. There's no pressure to learn how to deal with people straight away. Internships are supposed to help achieve that. At least in theory. I smiled at his words. In his own way, he seems nice. What about you? After all, you say you didn't have a set group either. To tell you the truth, I suppose I could say the same as you. I'm not very skilled at speaking to others. His voice came out almost as a whisper. A careless whisper? He seemed hesitant to say this. Well, it is like you said, internships are there to help. I'm sure you'll be okay. Thank you. I appreciate your concern. Maybe I was wrong in assuming it bothered him. He seems okay. At least I think he is. His face hardly changes. After some time, the room started to fill with people. Chester stood quiet, but it wasn't bothering me anymore. He seemed to be distracted. His eyes were glazed over. One of his legs were tapping lightly. After a few more minutes, the professor also arrived. There was going to be a brief lecture, and then we would go to the lab for the practical part. That is where the group bit should come. If I'm lucky, things will end smoothly, and I'll be able to study in the afternoon before going home. Thankfully, Chester is competent enough in lab work, so I won't have to lead him much. I put my lab coat over my clothes. The lab always smelled like a dentist's office, a cold and sterile smell that only reminds me of the color white. It was even colder now since the leaves were falling. I can only wonder how much one could handle being here in winter. So, shall we begin? He looked over at me, waiting for me to get ready. Sure. In the end, things ended up alright. Chester wasn't well coordinated on working with someone else. In fact, he was competent. It was often leaving me behind without realizing it. With some work, we made our dynamic as a duo function well enough. The sun was already soaring in the middle of the sky. I was leaning in the sink while washing my hands. Well, this did take a bit longer than I expected. Are you upset? He was already prepared to leave. Not really. I feel like the time invested was pretty worth it. You are pretty good at this. Thank you. You're not bad yourself. Either way, I really should get going. Of course. See you soon. See you soon, Lionel. He exited the room. After drying my hands, I was prepared to leave as well. I opened the door and walked down the corridor. But just as I exited the room, I remembered that I forgot my lab coat somewhere else. What a pain. After 1 year, you think you'll get used to not forgetting such a simple thing. But I'm glad I noticed it was missing soon enough. Something laying over the desk caught my attention. Seems like Chester forgot something too. It looked like a small notebook. He probably took it out to take notes. I'll give it back to him when I see him. Sitting down at the table, I put my bag on top of it to start studying. Surprisingly, today the library was not as crowded as it always was. The silence filled it. It seemed like a nice day outside too. Sadly, not nice enough to abandon my degree just yet. I really should just get to work on those PDFs. No. I accidentally knocked over Chester's notebook. It opened itself on a random page as I hit the ground. Huh. It was a schedule after all. He must really be into organizing stuff. I picked it up and stared at it for a few moments. Huh? Isn't this... Please excuse me. It seems I lost something in the lab. Did you by any chance came across it? I did. Marvelous. The notebook was exactly what I was looking for. Thank you, Lionel. You're very helpful. I am? Of course. You see, I'm quite useless without it. Really? I didn't realize you were. This organized about things. Must be imagining things. You flatter me. I believe I've yet a long way to go. But alas, I wish I could stay more. But I'm quite in a hurry. Now if you'll excuse me. Right. It's my imagination. As much as I tried to deny myself, what I saw was still lingering in my mind. The more I thought about it, the more silly it sounded in my mind. It feels so irrational to think that someone will be keeping tabs on me, right? I should keep an eye out for him at the very least. Chapter 1. The Gentle Autumn Rain. Since then, Chester now talks to me occasionally, sitting by my side silently in the classes we shared. The thought of what I saw still never left my mind. I kept thinking of ways to bring it up to him and question it. But for now, it's just rendered me anxious about the topic. Besides that incident, he never acted oddly since, which only made me even more confused. Good afternoon, Mr. Adler. You arrived earlier than usual today, huh? Mr. Adler is my assigned professor and gives me instructions to work in the lab. He's the one who guides me and the other 4 students assigned to him. Well, since you're here first, I'd like to tell you that I got a new assistant. Actually, I think it will do you and the others well. Honestly, I never thought I needed an assistant before. That young man just convinced me so well. A new TA. Mr. Adler never needed a TA before. It was really impressive, I would say, since he is basically at the same learning point as you. I was doubtful at first, but he somehow passed the test I gave him anyway. He seemed so dedicated. Besides, I think it will do you well to talk to people your age too, dear. Heh. No offense, of course. None taken. Older people are so brutal sometimes. Mr. Adler in particular acts like a gossipy old lady. I just never saw you talking to anyone besides a professor before. You should try to get out of your bubble. Oh, I say this because I worry about you, dear. Of course. Yeah, thanks. Good afternoon. Chester? Do you already know each other? Well, this is the gentleman I was talking about. Hey, Professor! We were just literally lab partners for like at least a week. What are you going on about? Hey, just remember not to let personal relationships interrupt your academic pursuits and try to stay focused. Yeah, of course. You need not worry about such things, Mr. Adler. So, you wanted to be his TA? Of course. It seems like it will be entertaining. This guy's idea of fun is really weird. I won't complain, I suppose. Mr. Adler, while being a good professor, is not the most ideal person. He is a very eccentric man. Sometimes I feel he is more of a threat to me than any of those chemicals in the lab. I guess Chester being here would be a big help to keep him under control. I didn't know you liked doing these sort of stuff. Teaching, I mean. Is that so? I'll do anything as long as I can avoid retail. What happened to internships being there to help you deal with people? Well, I'm dealing with you and some others, am I not? If you need anything, please come to me, Lionel. I will be here to help you with anything you require. You can rely on me. Well, I wonder how that went. You're leaving already, Lionel. Yeah, I'm done for the day. I'm beat. Would you be interested in drinking coffee with me? Huh? Sure, I guess. I guess I could use a break. Chester never really tried to take the initiative in talking to me like this. I guess he's starting to put more effort into it now. That's lovely. Would you like to pick a place? That was another thing about him. He always seemed to try to please others from what I've seen. Maybe you could consider him a pushover, but honestly, I feel a bit worried that others may abuse his personality. Wouldn't you like to pick the place instead? Well, I don't know many shops, to be fully sincere. I'd hoped you could help me with that. Fine. I know a place. Well. Oh, here. So, you said you came here a lot, isn't that right? What do you usually drink when you come here? Honestly, I just ordered a latte. I'm not that good with the bitter taste of coffee, so I prefer it. Also, the taste is nice and comforting. Is that so? I suppose I'll drink it with you. I smiled at him. It was a nice afternoon. I was done with studying and I didn't have anything else to do. I always forgot to take a break myself. I was glad Chester was here. At this point, studying antidepressants was starting to give me depression. It almost feels like I was in high school again, hanging out casually with my friends. Except something else was in my mind. So about the notebook you left in the lab. Yeah? How could I even ask someone this? It's so awkward. The notebook. What was it? It's a schedule. Thought you saw it before you gave it back. Yeah, it's just... crap. It seemed very familiar. Familiar? Huh. Are you saying you thought I was stalking you? Oh my. That would be abhorrent. I would never do something like that. The schedule was my own, of course. His hands were shaking slightly as he held his cup. He's definitely stalking me. It was? Oh, I'm very sorry. Honestly, I don't remember the contents that well anymore. It has been almost a week since that. But he couldn't be lying, could he? Chester doesn't seem like he would do that. Well, it's okay. I just hope it didn't scare you. I'm very sorry for this misunderstanding. How about this? As compensation, the drinks are on me, okay? I would like to make up for distressing you. You sure? It is not even fully your fault, you know. I insist. Yep, he's definitely stalking me. So, I shifted my seat from the uncomfortable silence. You are in pharmacology too, right? Why did you take that degree? Well, I guess I just liked it. I find the prospect of working in a lab to be very interesting. I guess this degree appeals to my interest. I was aiming for medicine. I just wanted to make my parents not worry about me. Well, you are happy with your degree, and it is a pretty prestigious school too. Wouldn't you say they are proud? Would you like to order something to eat? Personally, I'm quite hungry. My treat. I guess it would be nice. I'm quite hungry too. Are you okay, Chester? I guess I'll ask him if he's okay. Yeah, I'm perfectly fine. I suppose I'll get us something sweet. I guess Chester's worries about making his parents proud. I hope he's doing fine. It's been such a long time since I last spent time like this with someone. I really appreciate Chester for going out with me today. I forget so caught up with studying, try not to stay behind, but just for this day, I forgot all about it. Maybe others would see Chester as an awkward guy. But to me, I think he's nice and caring. I think he's a great friend. I'm gonna go romantic. I'm just gonna go for that, because heck, that's a lot more fun. I want to know more about him and be there for him. End of demo. Anyway, that was Gentle Fall. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. This demo was made for the Under Game Jam this year, and I'm really looking forward to what the full game's gonna be like. Because, heck, Chester seems like an absolute sweetie, and I kind of want to see what it looks like when he's unhinged. What can I say? Like, unhinged people look really hot when illustrated. Anyway, I hope you guys have a lovely rest of the day, and of course, I will be seeing you in the next video. This is Lionel, signing off. Ciao.